Welcome back and to the discussion segment brought to you by Everpure Drinking Water and TT Brothers. The management of Ghana Green Building Council, an NGO, is concerned about the sustainability of the built environment in Ghana. What is this NGO? What is the built environment? What is Ghana Green Building Council? How can we benefit? How can we participate? That's what we are going to find out in our discussion segment. And seated right next to me is Mr. William Niteko Evans, Amfom. Okay, he's the immediate past president, Ghana Institute of Architects. He has so many things in front of that name, but I'll reserve that for later. And good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
And next to him is Foster Osai Okono, who is the architect. He's an architect and founder and CEO, Ghana Green Build Council. Good morning. Welcome. So let me start with you. What is Ghana Green Building Council?
Well, Ghana Green Building Council is an NGO with no private ownership. Membership of the council is open to every organization, every individual in the construction industry, including professionals in the construction industry, government, and building owners. When it comes to procurement, we also look at the procurement officers who has to be part of it. Ghana Green Building Council was registered.
Before you continue, so when you say it's open, how do you mean it's open? They can apply to be a part of it, or you decide and appoint?
No, we don't decide and appoint. They apply to be part of it.
Okay.
It is supposed to be a collective effort by all citizenry to help fight climate change. Ghana Green Building Council was registered in August 2009, so it's a startup company. Its mission is to transform the built environment in Ghana towards sustainability through the way we plan, design, construct, operate, and maintain. Buildings all over the world generate about 40% of energy usage. The built environment embodies the buildings and everything surrounding it.
Please explain what you mean by the buildings as generate 40%. How?
Okay. Let's take construction. The activity uses a lot of energy. When a building is completed,
right,
we have air conditioners in, we have lights in, and they all use energy.
Okay.
The council is to look at how best we can reduce this energy usage, how best we can use resources wisely so that it will affect future generations positively. Green buildings are buildings which are energy efficient, which are environmentally friendly.
Okay.
For instance, go to typical homes. As soon as you enter the corridor, you have to turn on the lights, even during the day. And you ask yourself, what are you doing? You are turning on the light to pay for it. When during the day you can harness the daylight into it, so you save that money for either pay your child's school fees or to do more investments. Green buildings, you look at them and the benefits are enormous, but two key things. One, you save the environment, and then two, you save financially. You do a lot of savings that you can use as a client for future development.
Okay, I'll come back to you because you're talking about save, yes, maybe after everything, but constructing a green building, is it going to be cheaper or more expensive? But I'll come back to you. William, is it okay to call you William by your first name?
Sure.
Okay. We all know, we keep saying that there's a problem with the way we build in this country, the way we even lay out our buildings and all that. But as an architect, as a former president, what exactly is a problem? What is the problem with the buildings we have now?
Well, that's a difficult question. You need to look at it from a lot of angles.
Right.
You know, before you even start building, the whole question of land acquisition, land tenure, you know, and title to land, you know, which is where everything starts from. There are problems there with the way we do our surveys and mapping. So you find that many times the same piece of land that has been surveyed, there are little overlaps here and there.
Right.
So when you go to register it, you find that it's impinging on somebody else's land, and until those issues are resolved, you know, construction cannot go ahead. Then there's the element of design and planning. You know, how do we lay out our cities? Usually you would zone the city, you know, so and say, okay, this is reserved for industry here, I want to have a residential area, this is a green area, and so on. You see? Then the adherence to even the master plan that has been drawn up, you know, between the drawing up of the plan and the implementation, we also have problems.
Right.
Then you come to the individual building design, which is where the architects and engineers and other professionals...
But these days people design their own houses. They tell the constructor how the contractor how they want
well,
their
it's
house
good
to
to have an idea of what you want in your house. A house is a very personal statement and should reflect the way your family lives.
Right.
But you need a professional to tell you how to put it together technically, and also to make sure that building regulations and bylaws, you know, are being established. There are potential problems because the agencies that should monitor, you know, and supervise the erection of buildings are severely understaffed, you know, not motivated. So there are potential problems. But the net result of all of this is there's wastage in our buildings.
Okay.
The building methods we use are very energy intensive, as you said, and the object of green building is to try and introduce an element of efficiency with the special regard to the use of resources,
Right.
you know, water, energy, and looking at sustaining the environment. And as professionals, built environment professionals, you know, worldwide, they are in the forefront of driving the green movement.
But you know, gradually we are turning areas earmarked for different things into housing areas. We have areas that were earmarked for farming now being turned to residential, you know, area. Land earmarked for schools, earmarked for hospitals or whatever. We are buying them and then turning them into residential areas. Is that a problem?
It is a very serious problem, not only in Ghana but worldwide. It ties in with the urbanization, really, the migration into the urban areas. The population pressure increases, and people need to live somewhere.
Right.
You know, if you drive around Accra at night, all the kiosks you see selling during the day, they all become dormitories at night. People need somewhere to live. So some of those settlements are very informal settlements. You know, they have no legal backing whatsoever, but just that the land is there and people go and sort of take it by force. And it is very difficult then to move them. You know, we look at Sodom and Gomorrah and Abuja. People saw it happening, but no one took you know, any action. And once they are there and they've pulled in some amount of services, you know, there's a tap and there's power, so on, then it becomes very, very difficult. So you have to try and do what they call urban upgrading. The previous term was slum renewal, but it was deemed not politically proper. But urban upgrading, they are there. How do you manage them? And it has been done successfully in urban areas. But there needs to be a holistic look at the whole problem of housing, not just from the design point of view, but also from providing services and utilities. You know, it doesn't have to be to a first-class standard, but at least people should be able to have access to water and places of convenience, and a reasonable degree of sanitation.
Foster, there was some few years ago, there was this argument about how we build. You know, we use cement. You go to the US and I won't say UK, they are building take more cement than ours. But you know, you go to the US, within a day a building can be constructed using wood and other things to build. But the argument to the other side was that in our environment, Ghanaian environment, these are the buildings we need. We need very strong structures. We need very few maybe windows or glass and other, because we live in a very dusty area. Roads are not properly laid out or constructed. The stone, somebody's driving a stone gets into your glass and your whole house, it comes down.
Well, what you said is true. That is a perception we have as Ghanaians, that, oh, let's build in concrete and it will protect us from the roads, the dusty roads, and what have you.
The rains, the flooding, and everything.
Okay. What we are trying to say is that we need to take a second look at those things. They are not the right thing for us. How do we move away from that?
Why are they not the right things for us?
Okay. Let's take Adenta. Adenta does not have water. As we're talking now, how do they get water? Through the tracks. Okay. You ask yourself, why did they plan Adenta and say we are going to wait on Water and Sewage Corporation to give us water? Okay. When they can easily get water from underground and use it, when they can easily harvest rainwater and reuse it, when they can easily recycle water and reuse it. Talk about build with small window, we don't need wide windows and whatever. So you go to certain homes, they put air conditioners in because they have small windows, the rooms are hot and they need to cool it. Otherwise, and what we are saying is these are wrong practices. You need fresh air to come in. You need to reduce the waste, the construction waste. For instance, you have a block building in Ghana. They're going to refurbish it or rehabilitate it. What do you see? They demolish the walls, the block wall, and they cut them away, go and dump them in water-course areas like the Odona or whatever. Is this the right thing to do? And then when they do that, they spend money to cut new materials, new sand from elsewhere. And we are saying you can reuse that material, you can crush that material and use it at the site. What are you doing? You are saving. You are saving money that you can use for other things. You don't need smaller windows on your buildings. You need to ventilate the room. The room shouldn't be damp. Otherwise, you have poor indoor air quality and it affects your health. That is why we are looking at doing things right. The standard way of doing things, like William talked about, the fact that there are no capacity in terms of the planning and other things at those assemblies to regulate things. So what we are saying as a council is let us all come together. Private, public initiative. Let's see how best we can bring sanity into the construction.